I'm Rian from a Dram half full, and whether your glass is half full or half empty, I'm here to help you guys refill it, so welcome. Now, let's not be rude, let me introduce you to Whisky. Now, this little one is a little bit scared at the moment because we've got thunderstorms going on around, so she's here to help me, and I'm here to help her, so welcome. Anyway, we're talking today about a little tiny distillery called Raasay. It's based out of the west coast of Scotland on a tiny little island known as Raasay, the Isle of Raasay. Now, this distillery started in 2017, so it's pretty new compared to a lot of the other Scottish distilleries that we're all familiar with, we know and love. But I think what really caught my attention, more than just the spirit itself, was their branding. It really jumped off the shelf and caught my attention. So Raasay has this hardened quality about it. It's positioned in a very harsh environment where the seas and the winds really, bash down on the coastline and the people and the environment there. So it's rugged, it's tough, it's resilient. And I think how Raasay decided to position themselves to begin with was by creating a brand that embodied the spirit and the energy of the folk that dwell on the Isle of Raasay. And how they've done that is by working with a design and marketing agency out of the UK called 𝙬𝙬𝙧. You might be familiar with some of their other work. To name one would be Compass Box. They do some incredible stuff there. So keep your eye out. Now that you see it, you'll not be able to unsee it. And there's a lot of other very famous whiskies and other distilleries out there that utilize 𝙬𝙬𝙧, and for a good reason. Incredible work comes out of that agency. Now, what they've tried to do with, let's grab the bottle here. What they've tried to do with this bad boy is by imprinting a lot of the landscape onto the bottle. Now, the actual vessel itself utilizes a very Prohibition era-esque sort of shape. And to distinguish it from, they utilize a Prohibition era bottle. Now, we're gonna tangent for a second here. So the Isle of Raasay has had a long history of illegal distilling, specifically through the Prohibition era. And it only just occurred to me that maybe the shape of the bottle is intended to pay homage to this illegal heritage that the island has had. The Isle of Raasay is the first legal distillery on the island. So, in my mind, that actually is a very cool link. Whether I'm just projecting that or whether that's an actual thing, I don't know. Maybe you guys can tell me in the comments below. But yeah, they've imprinted a lot of fossilized remains of arthropods and shells all over the design and all over the vessel. And a lot of natural rock textures make their way in as well. It's stunning, absolutely stunning. They use a very simple typeface. It's a sans serif font and a lot of beautiful illustrations on the side. And they've incorporated a lot of texture into the drawings and into the foiling that goes into their logo. Really, really cool. So enough fluff. Let's go straight into the actual whiskey itself. So we're drinking the R-02.2 or thereabouts. It's the second release, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go on for the nose. What do you think? Good stuff? Smoky, like straight away, head over a fire. You're getting a good bash of smoke, which I'm a big fan of. I'm a bit of a fanboy of Islay, so I get behind that. Now, there's also a lot of sweetness in there as well, but it's kind of a little astringent. So, okay, I think I've positioned it. It's gotta be orange rinds or, you know what, maybe even a bit of a tart cherry or something like that. Fascinating. There is also a bit of sea brine funk in there as well, which is cool. All right, let's go in for the palate. Cilantro bar, guys. Okay. There's a lot going on here. Forgive me for a second while I process all of this. Okay, to start off with, it's a little young. I can taste that. I really can. A lot of the, you know, that classic ethanolic sort of quality is coming through, but it's very quickly blanketed with a nice smoke screen. If you, oh, I'm sorry, that was bad. There's this blanket of smoke or whatever that comes in and kind of covers up a little bit of that at the start, which is lovely. And then it evolves quickly into like a chewy doughiness. I'm not sure if you guys can hear the thunderstorms going on around here. Okay, and then it continues into a bit of like a blackberry jamminess, which quite enjoyable. There's a lot of sweetness towards the back. Red fruits, jammy, blackberries, quite nice. But it falls off a little bit at the end there. So the duration isn't as long as I would like. I like to chew on a whiskey and sit there and really experience it for a long period of time. Yeah, there's a bit of vanilla, a bit of nuttiness. It's cool. I mean, I think there's a good amount of elements that are coming in there. Oh, and he's like, hey, come on, come join the show. Come on, don't be like this. Oh, my cat's freaking out now as well. These thunderstorms are horrendous. Anyway, let's talk about the casks for a second. So they use a cool combination of chinkapin, rye whiskey, bourbon barrels, and they use rye barrels, chinkapin, and red wine casks from the Bordeaux region of France. So I think that kind of explains the palate in a nutshell. We've got a bit of the nuttiness and the savory notes coming from the chinkapin. There is also the red fruits and the jamminess, which come from the red wine casks. And then the bourbon barrel, the rye barrels. Makes a lot of sense. Again, a lot of the sultana notes and stuff. Anyway, that's me done. So thank you so much for stopping by. Really appreciate the company. It's nice. Yeah, may your days be as full as your glass, guys. Have a great night. Cheers.